Okay guys, this is hopefully a good summarization of what we talked about. 9:19, it is Monday. So here's what we did. We first wanted to talk about what a function was. And we learned from last year, it's where every x value is paired to exactly one, only one y value. So we looked at this function here, and it's a parabola, it's a quadratic, but we do know that one of the things we could talk about is the vertical line test. This graph passes the vertical line test, so every x has only one y. So go through the graph. Here's an x, only one y, an x, only one y. Here's an example of something that's not. The number 3 is paired to 10, and the number 3 is paired to 16. This is an x value with two different y's, so this is not a function. This one looks like it might not be a function, but an open circle means that it doesn't contain that point, so the vertical line would pass through it, and this is, yes, this is a path, okay? Now, if all it is a relation, that's just two values paired together. So all of these are relations. You've got two things paired together, two things paired together, two things paired together, two things paired together, two things paired together. It does not have to be a function to be a relation. But to be a function, it's where every x value has only one y value. Now, we talked about three different types of functions. A linear function. Sean said that's where it's straight. I agree, that's where it's straight. We like the y equals mx plus b. We looked at an example of y equals 2/3 x minus 1, and if I were to graph this, we know that it would basically start at -1 and go up 2/3. It would be a straight line. It does pass the vertical line test. So since it is a function instead of y, call it f of x. So when you see f of x, you know it's a function. If f of x bothers you, f of x and y are the same thing. Okay. We also talked about a quadratic function. Any x squared equation is a quadratic function. So you know that we looked at the standard form of quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c, and as an example I put down, well, 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. All of our quadratics will be some parabola. Now I don't know if I graphed this correctly, but it's going to be close to it. So, and of course that would pass the vertical line test. So we said if it is a function, call it f of x. Call it f of x, okay? And finally, the third one we talked about is exponential. We've got y equals some ab to the x. It's called exponential because the exponent is the x. That's what makes it exponential. A is the beginning amount, b is the rate, and then to the x power. So we said, okay, this is like taking 3 and doubling it. So take 3 and double it, 6, 12, 24, 48, 96, and so forth and so on. Those graphs look kind of like a J shape, and they continue to grow, okay? And again, if it's a function, call it f of x, a function. Well, then the activity was to go to pages 37, 39, and 41 out of your book. And what we did is we cut out all of the cutouts, and then our assignment was to take all of our cutouts and then put them in their groups. So the groups we were looking for were linear, trying to put them all linear, quadratic, so we're trying to put them in versus linear. Here, let me write that down. I wrote it down somewhere, but anyway. So group them by linear, quadratic, or exponential, or not a function. So you're going to put all the things, for instance, these are quadratics, that's a quadratic, that's a quadratic, that's a quadratic, that's a quadratic, that's a quadratic. Put them all together. This is linear, goes up by 2, up by 2, up by 2. That's linear. This is linear, okay? Group them all together. This is a non-function, so I put the non-function with the non-function. That happens to be an exponential. That's a quadratic. So we put them all together to put, that's a parabola, it's got to be quadratic. So group them all together, and that was our assignment. Okay, that's all I have. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.